Hey guys, so today we're going to talk all about ratios. So this is over lesson 97 essentially. Okie dokie, let's go ahead and jump right on into this. You're really like, ratios? What is a ratio? Well, a ratio is a way of comparing numbers by division. Yes, I said division. Now, we often write ratios, this word right here, ratios, as fractions. Now, we've worked with fractions before, so we kind of know how to write a ratio. Now, in terms of the ratio, we write them in order from top to bottom, okay? Now, let's take a step back and let's do a few examples together. Now, the way we would read ratios. Now, before we would just do ratios entirely. Oops, sorry, I totally erased part of that word. That's okay. So, we have to have two separate pieces of information before we can even write a ratio. Now, our two pieces of information would be knowing that in our 5th grade class, 5A and 5B, there are 15 students and 1 teacher per class. So in 5A, there's 15 students and 1 teacher. In 5B, there's 15 students and 1 teacher. Now, let's write this into a ratio. Okie dokie. Now, there's 2 ways to write this, and I want to show them to you, okay? Now, the way I will write the ratios on our Google Forms will look like something like this. 1 to 15. That means 1 teacher to 15 students. Now, the way you would write it on a piece of paper would be, let me put this in blue, okay? 1 over 15. Okay? So that is your ratio right there. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try this one more time. Okay, so another example. So let's do 12 boys, 18 girls. So there's 12 boys and 18 girls in one class. Mind you, this would be in a public school probably. So this is not all in just one class, but this is separated into like different classes like we have at IC. So 5A, 5B, they probably have 5A, 5B, 5C, because, there's a lot of kids in public schools. Okie dokie. So we have our 2 ways that we write our ratio, which is 12 to 18 in words or in a fraction form. Okay. Now, we know that this ratio is telling us how many people there are from each other. So for 12 boys, there's 18 girls. Now, let's try this. We're going to reduce this fraction. Yeah, you heard me right, reduce. Dun, dun, dun. Oh no, I have to reduce. It's okay, I promise. Okay, so keep this fraction right here in mind. 12 over 18. Okay, so we're going to reduce the ratio. 12 over 18. Now, before I can do anything, I have to find my GCF. And what is a GCF? Everybody, say it with me. Greatest common factor. Let's do that one more time. Greatest common factor. Okie dokie. To find the greatest common factor, we must do factor trees. Okie dokie. Yes, I just made an M, so that way we can have all of our numbers in one spot. Okay, so let's do our factor trees super duper quick. Okay, let's do 12 first. Write this down with me. That way you can keep this for a later date. 1 and 12, that's our first 2 right off the bat. And for 18, our first 2 right off the bat are 1 and 18. Okie dokie. Let's focus on 12. Okay. Our factors are, what is our next factors? 1 times 12 is 12. What about 2? 2 times what equals 12? 6. Yeah, so I'm going to write 2 and 6. Can 3 be multiplied by something to equal 12? Yeah. What is it? If you said 4, you're right. So I'm going to write 3 and 4. And now my next number after 3 is 4, but wait. 4 is on the right side, so I'm done with the factors for 12. Okie dokie. Let's move on to 18. We got 1 and 18. Whoops, sorry, you guys. Okay, so now we got 18. We got 1 times 18 equals 18. What about 2? 2 times what equals 18? If you said 9, you're exactly right. So I'm going to do 2 and 9. What about 3? 3 times what equals 18? If you said 6, you're exactly right. So I'm going to write 3 and 6. What about 4? 4 times what equals 18? Nothing. What about 5? Nothing. Okie dokie. And then 6, but wait. 6 is on the right side, so I'm done. Okie dokie. From here, what is my GCF, greatest common factor? The common tells you which one is there on the same of each number. The G tells you the biggest. So what is the biggest same factor on both 12 and 18? Now, let's go through the right side together because this right side tells us our biggest numbers, okay? So 18, 12, that's not together. Those aren't the same. 9 and 6, those aren't the same. And then 4 and 6? Wait, that's not right. I have 6 over here and 6 right there. Is that my greatest common factor? If you said yes, you're exactly right. So from here, I take my 6. I divide 12 and 18 by 6. Now, here is a fun fact and an easy one too. Okay? If we look at our factors for 12 and 18, if we look at the combination of 6 on the right side, but what's on the number on the left side? Here's my fun fact. 18, we have 6 on the right side, but what's on the left side? 3. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 3 on bottom because that's where my 18 is. And now 12's on top, so if I look at 6 under 12, I see 2. So there's what goes on top. There's your fun fact of the day. Hint, hint, it's super easy that way too to remember. Okie dokie. So my final reduced ratio for 12 to 18 would be 2 to 3. That means, okay, I know that's a lot, but bear with me. That means for every 2, what was it? Let's go back. So for every 2 boys, there are 3 girls for the whole class. I'm sorry. Does that make sense? I sure hope so. Y'all just did ratios. What? Super proud. Okie dokie. So, if you have any more questions, please let me know, okay? But, wait 1 minute. We have one last thing. Decimal points, okay? When you add or subtract decimal points, you must keep the decimal point itself in line. So if it's on top, it has to be in the same spot underneath. Okay? So let's look. We have 3.25, but we also have 1.0. What should be under the 5? 5's right here. There's nothing right here. So I have to put my what? That's right, invisible 0. So now I'm going to add this all up. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 0 is 2. 3 plus 1 is 4. Am I done? Absolutely not. I have to pull down that decimal point. So my decimal point goes right here. So my final answer for this decimal number, for these 2 decimal numbers to be added is 4.25. Please, please, please remember that, okay? And last but not least, let me know you watched the video, you guys. I want to hear from you. I miss you guys so much. Okay, remember, let me know if you have any questions. I am here for you. See you later. Bye, guys.